Shalom. Shalom, everyone. Shalom. Cool. How you guys doing today? Thank the Almighty. Definitely thank the Almighty for today. Slept pretty good. Works pretty good. Doing pretty good on my trades. Ups and downs, but I can tell I'm getting better. Nothing happened special for me today. So definitely thank the Almighty. Thank the Almighty for this market crash. That's good. Speaking of that, while we got time, is with this inflation around the whole world, you know, when they say the Great Reset, where you will own nothing and be happy, they're going to inflate everyone to poverty. The whole world. There's some places that are are revolting and protesting in the streets. I forgot what two countries, because one ran out of gas, one they had food shortage, so everything was in uproar. They're literally siphoning all the riches or resources from the poor, the middle class, and giving it to the elites. In the end, it's going to be the elites will have all the power and resources, and everyone will be poor. There will be no middle class in the whole world. It's either you're an elite or you're not. That's the end goal. So I was even thinking too about you know, the mark of the beast, and how people say, "Oh, I'll just get beheaded. I'll just get beheaded." I don't even really think the mark of the beast will be something forced upon the people. I would think it will be like vaccinations. Okay, you can't come into a government building unless you're vaccinated. Okay, well, you can't keep your job unless you're vaccinated. They'll just make it so tight to where people will just submit. It might get to the point to where you're considered an enemy or a threat or whatnot. It's possible, but in the end, when it goes full digital, and everyone takes this microchip or whatever mark, and you're like, well, I'll just barter or I'll just buy. How are they going to do that? Because you got yard sales and you got swap meets and flea markets and you got selling things on Amazon and eBay. All it will just be a phone. You're like, oh yeah, I want to buy this car. I'll sell you this car $3,000. You got someone's house, Craigslist ad and whatnot. All right, $3,000. Okay, there you go. Here's your keys. Everything. There will be really nothing you could get without, you know, having a phone. If you have a phone, then you have a banking system. Essentially, that's how it will be. And even if you say, well, not everyone can have a phone, like places in, you know, Brazil or in Africa and whatnot, it's so cheap to mass produce. Let's say the nano ledger or the treasure. It's a cold storage for crypto or digital currencies, right? If they mass produce those to where they're like $10, to where you could put money on and you could take money off. It's essentially a digital wallet, but it's just like this big. It's like having something like this, and you issue these out to everyone. So then you could still scan someone and it loads it up into your account or whatnot. I mean, it's real easy. They'll make it to where not, oh, you know, I'm just gonna stand, I'm not gonna take the mark of the beast. You literally just can't do it. It's not like, oh, I'll go behind the store and like, hey man, I'll pay double for the groceries if you just take this cash. I'll pay double because I don't have the microchip. Hey, will you take some cash? I'll pay twice as much for the milk and twice as much. You know, people like, man, I can't take it. We don't even take cash anymore. We just don't take it. There's nothing you could circumvent. Now you could barter labor. Hey man, I'll work on your field for some rice or for some beans. Or you could barter, hey, I'll give you some eggs if you give me some milk. Yes, you could barter with those things, but it's going to get so tight. This is the beginning. I see it plain. I see the wickedness. I see the hands of the elites. I do not know their master plans. I'm not in their meetings. So I see the after effects, or I see their end goal. I see their end goal by the means in which they're going to implement it. I cannot tell. And by like the COVID or this whole war thing and the whole inflation. Oh yeah, three more food distributing places burnt down since the last time I talked about it. So we see where this is going. It's going to be hyperinflation. People can't afford the food. People's going to eat less. You'll own nothing, be happy. They have all the money. They make all the rules. And everyone's going to be poor. And once they're poor, we have control over you. So I was just thinking about that, and it's sad that I do feel for the world, but more so for the people that believe in the scriptures but have no shepherd, and or that are not watching and praying, because these days will catch them unaware. If you put more energy in trying to tell people how the 12 tribe chart is legit, if you put more energy in trying to push having more than one wife, which is biblical, but push having more than one wife, if you push more energy in who is Esau or Edom, and then these things, while you go to sleep, these wicked people in high places are making moves to determine the level of standard of living you have, into trying to make you bend the knee and to submit to them. And you're worried about a 12 tribe chart. I talk to people. How much time we got left? I'm way past, but I'll finish this note. I talk to people, and these people somewhat see, and they make no provisions. Make no provisions. And it just, how do you believe this word and not be a prepper? I don't understand that. How do you could say, hey, the time is coming close, and you make no preparations? That don't make no sense to me. But carry on. Let's get it. Let's get it. All right, cool. Let's go. Welcome to True Hebrews United with Almighty Yeshua. They should be loved, holiness instructed, discipleship, just such about to get into the book as usual. Definitely give all honor to the Almighty Yah through his son, Yeshua HaMashiach, the only God of the Father. Definitely give double honor to the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the teachers, the elders, the bishops, the deacons, the apostles. I already said that already. Across the whole planet. Definitely all you brothers and sisters out there that's keeping the Almighty's commandments, statutes, judgments, precepts, and ways, and watching and praying. Definitely appreciate you guys. You inspire me to keep pressing, keep this word going. Plenty of times I wanted to just focus on my family in preparation and just say, hey, these people just don't want to repent, and I'll just do what I do. I'm going to keep the commandments. As far as me and my house, we're going to serve the Almighty, and we're going to make preparations. And if these world people want to live in sin, do what you need to do. Why should I stress over you living in sin? You want to fornicate, go fornicate. You want to do this, you want to cuss, you want to drink, go do what you do. But for me to put time and energy in people that really don't want to repent, take a part of Moses and my forefathers, Isaiah and all of them, sorrow and grief and frustration that they went through trying to save the people that don't want to be saved, then praise the Almighty. It's not my will, let his will be done. So it does inspire me when people like Sister Gia, she just recently came to True Hebrews United, and even that is a witness against so many people, because in Belize they don't have as many opportunities in a whole bunch of different areas, and you see that she takes her faith and she makes her moves, and she does what she needs to do to meet the standard, at True Hebrews United. And then, you see where people in the States have way more opportunity, and when it's time for them to go all the way for the Most High, they can't do it. And so through the years, I didn't think nothing of it until you see people, too. I went to Belize, and you see people that believe, and they just serve the Most High, and they're doing their best. And so then it's a witness against all the spoiled people that say they believe in the States. Like, you have no excuse. You've been spoiled so long, So praise the Almighty. Thank you all, Facebook, YouTube people. I love you guys. I want you guys to make it in the kingdom and be saved. I really want you guys to make it. I am Teacher Simon. Sometimes I don't say it all the time. I am Teacher Simon. I am not the only one. If you do not have a congregation, this is probably a high probability the Almighty sent you our way to be a part of True Hebrews United. I am not the only one, though. If you find a person that has the foundations of the apostles and prophets, Yeshua HaMashiach being the chief cornerstone in your local area, please go over there and get saved. You cannot be saved by yourself. You cannot be saved without a congregation. That is not how the Almighty has the order. Let all things be done in decency and order. It says, how can you believe on who you have not heard? And how can you hear without a preacher? And how can you hear without a preacher? And how can he preach except he be sent? So it says salvation came. He chose the foolishness of preaching to save those that are lost. So you cannot be saved without a minister. You cannot be baptized but by a minister. If your husband says, well, I baptize you, if he's not a minister, he doesn't have that authority. And if he says he does, he's lying, because then you say, show me proof. Show me one person that got baptized that was not a minister. The apostles baptized each other because he set them up as apostles. The apostles baptized other people. They select hands in every city and set elders. Every single person you've seen, from Philip the eunuch, from the Ethiopian eunuch, with Stephen, with Philip, with Timothy, all these people that baptized anybody, John the Baptist, every person in the New Testament that was baptized by a minister. So do you just think I'll have someone baptize me and not be a part of a congregation? If they're good enough to baptize you, then that's probably where you need to plant yourself. So hopefully that helps you guys out, all you guys that looking for a congregation. Let's get into the book. With all that said and being done, let's let the fingers do the walking and the scriptures do the talking. Go ahead and give me Galatians chapter 5. Hitting the fruits of the Spirit. Dealing with a little bit of it. I'm going to deal with joy and peace. Galatians chapter 5. Starting at verse 20. Let's do it. We'll start at verse 19. Now the works of the flesh are manifested. What are they? Adultery. Having sex with another man's wife. Fornication. Having sex when you're not married. Uncleanness. Lasciviousness, all that homosexual and all that other stuff. Nasty. You could just be with your wife and I want you to dress up like a little baby. All that uncleanness and stuff like that. Your little straight pedophile ways and all that stuff. Get rid of all that stuff. Idolatry. That goes from having graven images. That goes from worshiping false gods. Your dirt devil vacuum. Your Nike shoes. Your Starbucks coffee. All that stuff. Watch where those emblems come from. Leave that stuff alone. Emulations, wrath, strife, seditions, envyings, murderings, drunkenness. Envyings, watch out, you saints of the Most High, because sometimes these sinners, you like, man, why do they have that stuff? And I'm living holy and I don't have that stuff. So be careful. That thing will come every once a year or something and kind of rise up, and you got to push that stuff down. Murderers, drunken, revilings, and such as which I tell you before, as I've also told you in time past, that they which do such things shall not inherit the kingdom of the Almighty. These people ain't going to make it in. If they do any of those things, they ain't making it in. But the fruit of the Spirit is joy, love, which we dealt with, 2 parts. If you haven't seen love, I had 2 parts on that. Joy, there you go. There we go. Joy, peace, long-suffering. I dealt with long-suffering last Sabbath. Gentleness, goodness, and faith, meekness, temperance. Against such there is no law. So I want to deal with joy and peace today. Go ahead and give me 1 Corinthians chapter 13. Starting at verse 1. First Corinthians chapter 13, starting at verse 1. Though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity or have not love, I am becoming a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I can remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profits me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not, it vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoiceth not in iniquity, but rejoiceth in truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. Charity never faileth. Whether there be prophesying, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether there be knowledge, it shall vanish away. For we know in part and we prophesy in part. So I might get a prophecy or get a dream, and I'll tell the dream a coming event, but eventually that will come to pass. But my love for people will not fail. I might have knowledge, but eventually my knowledge may go away, meaning I might get old and whatnot, and I lose that knowledge, or I might forget that knowledge, but love never faileth. But I want to key on right here. Beareth all things, verse 7, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, endureth all things. And because love and hope and peace, they're kind of intertwined. And I'm going to show you how that works. Go ahead and give me Matthew chapter 5. Start at verse 9. And let's get it. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of the Most High. So we're supposed to seek peace. It says seek peace and holiness, without which no man can see the Most High. So it says blessed are the peacemakers. So we're supposed to de-escalate situations. And sometimes the only language people hear is violence. That's the only language they know. It says, with all that is in you, be at peace with all men. Israel tried to be at peace with people. And that people's heart was hardened and they had to go to war. Sometimes it happens like that. Let's keep going. Blessed are they which persecute you for righteousness' sake, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So when you get persecuted, right? One, it says I'm blessed, but I know I have a promise. I know I'm going to receive something. It says, blessed are ye when they shall revile you and persecute you and say all manner of evil against you for my sake. It says, rejoice and be exceedingly glad, for great is your reward in heaven, for so persecuted they prophets that were before you. So now it says, be joyful, to rejoice. To rejoice. Even though they're slandering your name or they're saying you're lazy or whatever, they're lying against you, it says to rejoice. And the reason why I say hopeth all things is because we know, like it says right here, it says, for your reward is in heaven. We hope for reward, which brings me joy, which brings me peace. That I know the suffering, like Paul says, the suffering in this present world is temporal. All this is temporary. The suffering that a woman goes through to give childbirth is temporary, but it brings forth what? And it's almost like when someone says, hey man, I got a way for us to make a lot of money. And you're like, okay, I want to make a lot of money. Or I got a way for us to buy a house or do this. And so let's say you're going to buy a house and you need a down payment of 30%. The house is $100,000. You need $30,000 to put down. So that means, it might take you, let's say it takes you 5 years. So for 5 years, you're hoping to buy this house. But for 5 years, you have this extra money and you put aside. And you want that big screen TV, but no, this is for my house. This is for my house. This is for my house. And so you're suffering or you're living below your means so you can save up money faster to get to the promise. And that's the same thing with persecution. Even though we go through what we go through in life, we suffer now is temporal so we could get to the promise. So let's keep going. It says, rejoice and be exceedingly glad. It doesn't even say, just rejoice for a little bit. It says, be happy. For great is your reward in heaven, and so persecuted they the prophets which were before you. So let me get you Job real quick. And I got to bring some news today. So Job 23. And we're going to start at verse 9. Job 23, verse 9. On the left hand, where he doth work, I cannot behold. And he hideth himself on the right hand, and I cannot see. But he knoweth the way that I take, and when I am tried, I shall come forth as gold. For I have held his steps, and his ways have I kept, and not declined. Neither have I gone back from the commandments of his lips. I have esteemed the words of his mouth more than my necessary food. So he says, when I am tried, I should come forth as pure gold. Now, you guys got to go back and read Job, like maybe the first 3 chapters, to see where he went through. But he had the hope, and that gave him peace. Because hope, it says, but the fruit of the Spirit is joy and peace, long-suffering, temperaments. We're dealing with the fruit of the Spirit. So by me having hope, that gives me peace. By me having hope, that gives me joy. When we invest in certain things, we're planting seeds. Or when a farmer invests, they're planting seeds. And they're content. Even though they don't see no crops, it's just barren land, and they're just plowing the ground in the sun, following the ox or whatnot, plowing the ground, sweating your brows. And they're planting seeds and they're watering, but they have hope for a great harvest. And that harvest is going to bring them a lot of money or bring them a lot of wealth. So they're planting in hope, and that gives them peace. That gives them peace. And so us, when we go through this, the fruit of the Spirit is peace. We get that peace from the hope of our calling, which is salvation and eternal life, to forever be with the Most High. That gives us a sense of peace. And in life, you will go through things. You will go through death in family. You will go through sickness. You will go through ailments. You will go through disability. I hurt my leg. You will go through these things. But there should be a baseline of peace you have. Because we'll go, say this is the baseline, and you're normal. And you go through things and whatnot, and depression, and get sad. But there's always, at the end of the day, you know you have a hope for your calling. You know that salvation is at the end of this. I know, hey, I'm going to go through, and there's be times where I'm up and I got money, and times where I'm broke, and times when I have my family members, times when family members die, times with this, and you know that. But at the baseline, you know, at the end of this journey, at the end of my story, at the last page, the Almighty's going to come. The last page, the Almighty's going to come, and I will forever be with you. And you will always have that peace. Because hope brings peace. So let's keep going. Give me Hebrews chapter 11. And we're going to deal with verse 32. Hebrews chapter 11, verse 32. And what shall I say more? For the time will fail me of Gideon and Barak and Samson and Jephthah and David and Samuel and of the prophets, who through faith subdued kingdoms, wrought righteousness, obtained promises, stopped the mouth of lions, quenched the violence of fire, escaped the edge of the sword, out of meekness was made strong, waxed valiant in fight, turned the flight of the armies of the aliens. Check this out. Women received their dead to life again, and others were tortured, not accepting deliverance, that they may obtain a better resurrection. So our forefathers, our brothers and sisters, were tortured, and they could have been delivered and freed, but they had the hope of a better resurrection. They were settled in their mind. They had peace in their heart. Like, even though I may never get out of prison, or even though I may get my arm cut off and be sawed asunder, I have this certain peace that I know I have a better resurrection. I am resolved in my mind. This is when Paul says, what shall separate you from the love of Mashiach? Shall death, shall angels, principalities, famine, persecution? It says, I am fully persuaded that none of these things will separate me from the love of Mashiach. He had that peace. And so through that, when he goes through these trials, you can have joy. Yes, you will get sad. The Bible says there's a time to mourn, there's a time to cry, there's a time to laugh, there's a time for joy, there's a time to pick up, there's a time to put down, there's a time to hate, there's a time to lower up, there's a time for peace, there's a time for war. There's always that. We understand that. But there should be a baseline joy and a baseline peace. There should never be a time where you can't give the Almighty the praise. Where you can't go and be around people and say, hey, I give the Almighty the glory. I'm going through a lot right now, but praise the Most High. I know what I go through. He's not going to break me. He's not going to give me more than I can take. And I'm just going to give him the glory the whole way. Because what did the wicked one say about Job? Well, he says he'll curse you to his face. He'll curse you to his face. You put this. He has that peace and he has that joy because you blessed him. You put a hedge around him. But if you take these things away, if you change his living circumstance and you change his whole lifestyle, he won't serve you. He'll curse you to his face. But Job had that perfect peace. He had that joy. And even though he wished he was never born, he says, you know what? When I'm tried, I shall come forth as pure gold because I have not moved. I kept his ways. I stayed in his steps. When I'm tried, I shall come forth as pure gold. And so he says, blessed, the Almighty giveth, the Almighty taketh, blessed be the name of the Most High. He had that peace. Like, hey, he gave me this stuff, he decided to take away. Yes, he gave me this stuff, and sometimes we feel entitlement because he will give us people, like even our own children. And so we get this sense of entitlement that our children will die after us. But that's not always the case, and we know this. There's people that go through certain things where you're like, oh, Almighty, I serve you. Why does my kid have this ailment? Or why is this? Or why is that? And you wonder, like, but he giveth and he taketh away. He leases you every single thing you got, whether it's your car, whether it's your wife, whether it's your children. And he leases it to you. You never owned it. He just let you use it. And when you understand that, like Job, the Almighty giveth, the Almighty taketh. Blessed be the name. He gave me the children and he took it away. Blessed be the name of the Most High. And he had that peace. He was resolved. He could rejoice. Let me show you something. Go ahead and give me 1 Peter chapter 1. A couple books to your right. 1 Peter chapter 1. We're going to start about 6. It says, wherefore greatly rejoice. Through now for a season, if need be, you are in heaviness through manifold temptations. So you were in heaviness through manifold temptations, and a lot of things in life is going. You got financial situations, family situations, arguments, this, that, contentions. There's a lot of things going on. And, you know, it says to rejoice, to take the time and just really thank you, Almighty. Take the time and just give him the praise and give him the glory. Take the time to say, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, I know I'm winning. At the end of the day, I know I'm winning. It's like when you invest in something and then it goes down. But you know at the end of the day, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. I don't care how long it goes. I don't care. At the end of the day, I'm going to win. I'm going to win. So it says to rejoice greatly when you're in heaviness, the manifold temptation, knowing that to try your faith, bringing more precious than gold that perish, that will be tried through with fire, might be found unto praise and honor and glory after appearing that Yeshua Mashiach. At the end, whatever I go through, all these temptations, all these things that go my way, I know I'm winning. I'm going to win at the end. And how can you not have that peace? How can you not have that joy when you know at the end, when the story's done, I'm going to win? I know this person got taken away, or I know my kid's going through this, I know, but at the end of the day, I know I'm going to win. And so I have that peace. I'm settled in my mind. These people we read in Hebrews, they said they didn't even receive deliverance that they may obtain a better resurrection. They had hope for a better life in the second resurrection. That new heaven, new earth. And they were settled and they had that peace. And no one could take that away from them. Because when the wicked one tried to take that away From Job, it says, hey, he's not settled. He don't have joy. He won't rejoice. He'll curse you. He won't bless you. He won't rejoice. It says, rejoice greatly when you're in heaviness and manifold temptation. Yeshua says, rejoice exceedingly when they revile you and persecute you and say all evil manner of things against you. It says, rejoice greatly, exceedingly. So these people are saying rejoice, and wicked one came and said, hey, he'll curse you to his face. But no, that's not what he did. He says, the Almighty giveth, the Almighty taketh. Blessed be the name of the Almighty. He blessed the Most High. He didn't curse him. He blessed them. So it says that you try at the appearing of the Almighty. Let me give you the shout outs, and then I want to share a couple more scriptures and give you some news. Isaiah 20, no. Well, you can get Isaiah right now, but let me do the shout outs real quick. Shout outs. Keturah, Princess Yehuda, Karen, Haya, Angel, Gia, William Mormon, Johnny, Kovesh, Jason, Aurelius, Kamari, Ariel, Nava, Kashed, Gabby, Zahara. Praise the Almighty. I want you guys to make it into the kingdom. Even Isaiah 26. See, the thing that I do like about the fruits of the Spirit is because you could be obeying and still like these fruits. There should never be a depression that takes you below the baseline of peace that the Almighty has ordained. We all go through frustration and anger. These emotions is natural, but it should never go below the baseline. This crash that just happened, I don't know if you guys understand about crypto, but there was a crypto called Terra Luna, and they had a stable coin called UST, a stable coin pegged to the dollar. In less than 2 days, it went from Terra Luna's was the actual coin was worth over $100, and it went from under 1 cent. People lost billions. Now imagine having $1 million and you wake up one morning and you got 1,000. 1,000. That peace that you had because you were an unbeliever goes below that. They said it's reported that 8 people killed themselves from this crash. And I know in 2008 with the housing market bubble and people lost billions of dollars, people were jumping off of buildings. They were so used to living a certain standard of living, of luxury or high middle class or whatever. They couldn't even fathom being broke. They couldn't even fathom living a poverty life or living below the means that they were so accustomed or felt they were entitled to. So they rather kill themselves. They got so depressed that they rather kill themselves. There's people that when they find out, I seen this video and it was kind of funny though, but it showed this guy. They got this rapper, I forgot what rapper, and what he did, it was a pretty solid show. They got a rapper, a famous rapper, real rapper, and they bring this rapper to the club around men that think their girls are faithful. So they have this guy, they're like, yeah, your girl's going to the club, whatnot. This rapper comes, this and this and this. So it's like, nah, my girl, she's pregnant, this and this, that and that. We got a kid on the way, we're going to get married, we're engaged and everything. She straight goes with this rapper in the back car and does some stuff, want to get a studio or whatnot. It doesn't show but she did some stuff. Comes back to the club. The rapper was like, nah, we can't go to the studio. She brings a friend and goes to the rapper's studio. And then the guy was like, I don't believe it. They didn't do nothing. The guy is in so denial. It's funny because he just did not believe that his girl that was super faithful, pregnant, they're engaged. As soon as some rapper comes, she's off on it. So threesomes with this dude, right? Oh, I don't believe it, whatnot. But these people will kill themselves because their girl cheats or because their guy cheats. You're going below the peace level, below the joy level. Because even if that happened to me, let's say, my wife cheats on me. then I know I'm winning in the end. My wife cheats on me does not dictate my salvation in the Most High. I'm on this planet to serve the Most High. My goal is to serve the Most High. If I have a wife, I have kids on the way, and I want to build a dynasty, and whatever the Almighty allows me to do in this time, whether buy the dream car I want or whatever, build the house that I want, praise the Almighty. But none of those things dictate my salvation. At the end, my end goal is to be saved and to please the Most High. That's my end goal. So I'm not going to let no women, no kids, no none of that take the peace and the joy I have in the Most High. I'm winning. I don't care what you do, I'm winning. If you lock me up for life, I try not to. I'll probably just die fighting. I'm not going to let these wicked people just lock me and torture me and whatnot. I'll just go ahead and die in fighting. You know what I'm saying? But, they're not going to take my salvation away. I'm not going to let that deter me to where you get to the point to where you just kill yourself. Then you didn't have that peace. Now, you could get to the point where you wish you would, like Jeremiah, like Job, like Jonah, like Elijah. We've seen it. I taught on it a couple Sabbaths ago. You know what I'm saying? Where you get to the point to where you wish you was just never born. You want to die. You don't want to be on this earth. You're like, Almighty, take me. But you don't actually determine. Your body is not your own. I can't say I'm going to take my life today. You don't have that authority. Your body belongs to the Most High. He takes you when he deems fit. You serve him until you can't serve him no more. You teach or you witness or you be the light of the world until you can't do it no more. Until you can't get up, until your back shot, until whatever, until he says, okay, you can get on retirement, and then that's when you do. When he decides to take you, he decides to take you. Your life is not your own. Your body is not your own. It belongs to the Most High. You're bought with a price, and he redeemed you with his blood. So, knowing that this is the difference between the saints of the Most High and the fruits of the Spirit. That we never go below this level. Even if we lost millions, we were still winning. My kingdom is not of this world. If I had millions of dollars and I lost it all in one day, my kingdom is not of this world. Yes, it will hurt, and I'll be frustrated. And every day while I'm still having to work this job, knowing that, man, I could be retired right now, every day it'll probably bother me. But not to the point to where I just stop having joy in the Most High and peace in the Most High. I'm always going to give him the praise and give him the glory. It says he gives me the ability to establish wealth. And then if he gave it and took it away just to see what I'll do, and I kept praising his name, guess what he did to Job? He gave him 7 times, double as much. Twice as much. He gave him twice as much. So then what? Then what? Sometimes your parents will do that. They'll take something away just to see your reaction. And your reaction is righteous, they'll bless you even more. They'll bless you even more. So let's keep going. Give me Isaiah 26. Starting at verse 1. In the days shall this song be sung in the land of Judah. We have a strong city. Salvation will the Almighty appoint for his walls and bulwarks. Open the gate that the righteous nation will keep the truth may enter in. Check this out. Thou will keep him in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed upon thee, because he trusted in thee. So the people that trust in the Most High, it says he will keep you in perfect peace. The fruits of the Spirit, we read, is joy and peace. And he will keep us in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed upon the Most High. We know who we serve, and we know our inheritance. If you tell your children, because it says a good man leaveth his inheritance to his children, you tell your children, hey, yeah, you get good grades, or you do this, hey, you know, I'll leave you an inheritance. And they know, like, at the end, you know, I just got to suffer through the school and college and deal with these knuckleheads at school or whatever. And I got to, you know, do this and go through these struggles and work in this. But at the end, I have an inheritance. As long as I stay in his will, I have an inheritance. And you'll have that peace. And you might go to school and have to deal with teachers that get on your nerves. But at the end of the day, you know, I'm winning. I got a better inheritance than you, teacher. And you deal with some students that may want to make fun of you or whatnot. Hey, it don't matter. In the end, I'm winning. And the same thing, you'll go through life and you'll take your L's. You'll lose some of these battles where they're getting laid off or going through this or losing family members for standing for righteousness. But in the end, you will win this war. And he puts you in perfect peace whose mind is stayed upon the Most High. Last scripture. Give me Revelations. Last book. Couple of last verses. Revelation 22. Starting at verse 18. Revelations 22, starting at verse 18. Then I'll get into some news. It says, "For I testify unto every man that heareth the words of the prophecy of this book. If any man shall add unto these things, the Almighty shall add unto him the plagues that are written in this book. And if any man shall take," we'll start with that part. And then this is a side note. He's dealing with Bible prophecy, right? And he says, don't add to this book. Are you willing to take the chance with your salvation to pick up, I heard there's a book called the Book of Adam, or the Book of Jasher, or the Book of Jubilees, or the Book of Enoch, or this book, or this book, or this book. Now we do know that there's books mentioned in the Bible that aren't in the Bible. We do understand that. This is true. We do understand that the Catholic Church tried to take out Revelations and try to take out the book of Daniel. So we do understand that there's a high probability there is books that are not in here because they got lost through time or through wicked hands they got taken out. So we do understand that. But we do also understand that it's a dangerous thing adding a book, and now you're adding to this word that is not endorsed by the Most High. It's dangerous. And a lot of these books deal with Bible prophecy too. So then by default, you're adding to the book of Revelation. Because Revelation is dealing with Bible prophecy, and you're taking extra books and adding to Bible prophecy, which might be contradictory to Revelation. So you might want to be real cautious out there just adding extra books to your arsenal. Verse 19. "If any man shall take away from the words of this book of this prophecy, the Almighty shall take away his part out of the book of life, and out of the holy city from the things which are written in the book." So for you to get your name taken out, you would have had your name put in, right? So you take on this extra book, and now you're taken away from this. Because you're saying, oh, well, this and this and this. And so now it's saying some of these prophecies may not happen or may happen in a different way or whatnot. So you're still taken away from it. And now you was on your way to the kingdom, and now you're not, simply because you chose to pick up an extra book. And I keep telling you, all the commandments you need, I even teach out of the Apocrypha because that's the history how the Romans got into the kingdom. But all the books, every commandment you need to be saved is in here. How to keep the Sabbath, how to keep the feast days, what meats to eat, what meats you can't eat, how to dress. Everything we need is here. I don't need any extra books. And then I deal with people, and they're like, this side note. Oh yeah, this and that and this and this and this. All right, so you have all those extra books, and it brought you to the same place that I'm at, and I don't have those extra books. You did all those extra reading. You put all those extra hours. You try to decipher and all these extra books. And it brought you to the same place that I'm at. Of getting out of Babylon and being a prepper. It brought you to the same. Some of you guys are in the same location in Belize. You have all these extra books and you're at the same place I'm at. And I didn't have any of those extra books. So that lets you know the Almighty gives his saints the knowledge he needs to prepare themselves. The Almighty, if you're honest, the Almighty's not going to lead you astray. And I didn't need none of those extra books to get to where I'm at. I just need to obey and keep his commandments and keep my faith and serve him. So, that's a side note. But this is the last part I'm going to get with. Verse 20. "He will testify these things, surely I come quickly. Amen. Even so, come, Almighty Yeshua." So John was like, come quickly. Hurry up and come. You know, he says, I come quickly. Say, let it be so, come. Let it be so, come quickly. And so that's to say, like, he had that hope. Like, come. This world is wicked. This world is wicked. These elites are destroying the world through famine, through inflation. If you bring inflation, then by default, you bring famine. Because if people can't afford the food, I go to in Belize, sometimes people have to get food on a loan system, and they'll have to pay back. And it makes you sad because they don't have enough money for food, so they have to get it, and they'll loan them food, and they have to pay it back, and they have payments, put it on a tab, if you will. But if it gets to that point, it's like, that's a famine. They can't afford the food, it's still a famine. Yeah, there could be 1,000, all the food on the planet, you know what I'm saying? But you can't afford it. So then what? You still starve to death. It doesn't matter. And so we see in that how the world's so wicked. It's like we need to be prepared, have that perfect peace within you. So praise the Almighty. I was supposed to bring that around, and I actually lost how I was bringing that back around. So that's what happened right there. So anyways, praise the Almighty. Have that peace in your heart. You should never get too depressed, and you should never get too sad. Yes, you may have those thoughts come to your mind, but don't let it marinate. Depression or suicide or anything, don't let that stuff marinate in your mind. Hey, we win it in the end. The Saints of the Most High, we win it. We win it. So let's deal with some news. I didn't really have too many news. I did tell you guys how 3 more of those food distributing places burnt down or got caught on fire again, so it had to shut down. Inflation will get worse. They already said it's going to get worse. This is a good opportunity. I don't want to deal with finances too much, to plant the seeds. We plant the seeds when the economy is down. You know what I'm saying? You plant the seed. No one plants the seed in the time of rain. That's when the stuff grows. You plant the seeds when it's dry, and then when the rain comes, your stuff will grow. You get what I'm saying? So this will be a good opportunity for you Saints of the Most High to start making some good investments. Look out there. Make your money work for you. You know what I'm saying? Don't depend on this government, because they don't have the interest of anyone, especially the Saints of the Most High. They don't have you in the best interest. It's up to you to determine, I got paid $100. How can I take $5 of this dollars and make this $5 turn into $25? How can I put this money in and it could create dividends or interest? How can I start planting this? Because when the time comes, then I'll be in the upper. I'll be well prepared. You know what I'm saying? So, also too, the whole Ukraine little war that Russia is bringing to the UN proof that the U.S. was making biological weapons and sending it to the States. And they were saying that they believe that they were trying to use the biological weapons and blame it on Russia to start a war. And that's some of the reasons why Russia invaded Ukraine, because not only the NATO thing, but there was 30 infrastructures funded by the U.S. With biological weapons. And so they're coming in and put a stop to that. They were encroaching and surrounding Russia, and they're going to try to get down China and whatnot. But I told you, when Russia, China, and North Korea falls in some way, they may not fall through war, but through submission, maybe through the new digital infrastructure system. When they all fold and bend the knee, then it's going to be real trouble. So the longer Russia, China, and North Korea stands and not in one accord with these elites, the more time we have. Not to say a bad one. I'm not telling you guys. I'm saying, hey, so I'm not saying be rooting for no Russia or whatnot, but one thing, Russia never took part of the transatlantic slave trade. You know what I'm saying? And I know the whole neo-Nazis is Ukraine's racist. They have neo-Nazis in their army, a battalion. And they're funding, the U.S. is funding Nazis. And you see black people or Hebrew people say, I want to volunteer and fight for Ukraine and whatnot. So you're going to fight for people that oppress your people? You're going to fight for neo-Nazis? Why don't you join the neo-Nazis that's in the United States? There's still neo-Nazis here, neo-Nazi groups here. That makes no sense. We sit here and want to fight for everyone but for ourselves. You know, I'm not going to get sidetracked, but Hebrews will fight for every cause but our own cause. You know what I'm saying? So, there's not too much news. Hopefully that was a blessing to you guys. You guys got any questions? The KMC, love that KMC. I don't get it. All right, cool. You guys got some comments. Love you guys. I want you guys to make it into the kingdom and be saved. With all that said being done, keep standing. Don't drop standards. Give the Almighty a hand clap. Shalom. Oh, one more thing. I did see something on the news. I actually wanted to do this. If money gets good, I got some things on the way. A YouTuber went to the place that they believe is Sodom and Gomorrah, a destroyed city. A YouTuber, and they found scattered throughout all these destroyed cities, sulfur and brimstone. And it's scattered like if you see a hailstorm, how you see all the beads scattered. This whole city, the whole ruined old school city, they believe is the location of Sodom and Gomorrah. All throughout the ground, in the walls, all throughout this old destroyed city is sulfur and brimstones. So if I do get money, I do want to travel the world and confirm all these things. We already know about the Mount Ararat in Turkey that they found them, and they even Turkey itself said we found Noah's Ark, and then they tried to hush that over. It had petrified dung, hay. The whole wood structure was made out of gopher wood. So they already found Noah's Ark in Mount Ararat in Turkey already. That's already proven. So, but just to show that, hey man, if we get money, I'll put that on YouTube, and I'll go around the world and go start checking these things out myself. I had the mountain where the fire burnt, and then the top of the mountain is burnt black, and it was Mount Horeb. If you go to Mount Horeb, it's blocked off. They won't let no visitors go in. And it's the top of this mountain is black because that's the fire that he spoke. And they can't understand why there's just a huge black circle on top of Mount Horeb, but no one could go to that. Then they got the other ones I heard is blocked off, the mountain where the huge rocks on top of the mountains are split, and they said it looked like water came down. There's a stream that looked like water came out of there when Moses smote the rock and water came out. So I want to go visit all that stuff, man. If I had money, like Lord willing, there'll be some stuff. I would love to go see those stuff to bring more consolation with the people of the Most High, walking by faith. You know what I'm saying? We walk by faith and not by sight, but a little sight will help too. So, all that says been done. Keep standing. Don't drop standards. Give the Almighty hand clap. Shalom.